Hey everyone, I'm the Canadian Lad, and this is the breakdown of Daredevil Born Again Episode 4. Jon Bernthal finally comes back as the Punisher after 9 long years, and boy did that feel good. And for today's breakdown, I'm gonna do something different. I'll start with Frank and Matt's scene together, and then I'll go chronologically. So without any further ado, let's begin. After finding the bullet casing that killed Hector Ayala, Matt heads over to Frank's hideout. Now, Frank's been hiding out for a while now, but Matt probably knew where he was, just like he keeps tabs on Fisk. But why is Matt really here? I think he wants Frank to take care of the corrupt cops using Frank's name for illegal killings. Matt is afraid of his inner devil taking over, so he wants someone else to handle the mess. He doesn't want to unleash the darker side of himself, that's why he's asking Frank for help. But then Frank says something that cuts right to the core.
I don't think you came here for my help. See, I think you want my permission.
And Matt's reaction says it all. Frank is spot on.
It's an interesting take. I like it. But yeah, no, sorry, buddy. Way off on that one.
Matt didn't come here for advice or help. He's looking for validation from another vigilante. And check out Frank's hideout. He's not resting easy. Just look at the bruises on his face and neck. He's still out there doing work. The wall behind him has 22 photos, all crossed out, meaning Frank has either taken them down or wiped out the threads. Now, one of those photos looks like a victim from the Red Hook board, just like we saw in episode 3. And the motto above the wall reads, "For the fallen many, your sacrifice becomes our purpose." So Frank's still very much active as a vigilante. Then comes the best part of this episode, this amazing interaction between Frank and Matt.
It's not about him! You hate yourself. He's eating you up because you ain't done a goddamn thing about it.
God damn it.
Frank finally gets under Matt's skin, and Matt slaps him hard. But instead of getting mad or fighting back, Frank just smiles and yells, "Yeah!" because he can feel Matt starting to come back to himself. Usually Matt's the one sniffing around and listening to other people's heartbeat, but here in this hideout, the roles have reversed. It's Frank who can now see and smell the guilt that Matt is feeling deep inside.
You're guilty.
Excuse me?
And I can see it on you. I can smell it on you. It's all over you.
Matt feels guilty because he couldn't save his best friend Foggy, one of the few people that really mattered to him. Also, notice when Matt slaps Frank, he doesn't stop there. He grabs him by the collar and then stops himself. He's trying so hard not to let the devil inside take over.
God damn it. God damn you. Sorry. I apologize.
What are you sorry for? First honest thing you did, Red.
This scene might be one of the best acted moments in the MCU. Seriously, hats off to Charlie Cox and Jon Bernthal. Frank then pushes Matt to say Foggy's name out loud, but Matt just can't. In the last episode, he barely mentioned Foggy, and here he can't even bring himself to say it. That's pure tragedy. When someone goes through intense loss, they can't always talk about it. Matt can't say Foggy's name because it's like reopening a wound that would crush him. He's still haunted by that moment on the rooftop when he heard Foggy's heartbeat for the last time. And saying Foggy's name would bring all that pain rushing back, letting the devil out. Honestly, this whole sequence is one of my favorite moments in the Marvel Universe now. Alright, let's now get back to the beginning of the episode and start from there. The episode opens with Hector Ayala's autopsy, and they're packing his suit into an evidence bag. Oh man, seeing the blood stain and the hole from the exit wound on the mask broke my heart. Then we find out that no one could locate the bullet casing at the crime scene. But notice the doctor already suspects that the bullet might have been custom made.
High velocity jacketed, maybe even custom.
And sure enough, later on, Matt finds the casing with Punisher's logo on it. Next, we meet Angela Del Toro, Hector Ayala's niece. In the comics, she eventually becomes the White Tiger, so we might be seeing some big things from her. There was actually an alternate version of this episode where the White Tiger amulet started glowing when Angela got close to it. They cut it though because it wasn't necessary for the story right now. Also, notice how Hector's wife and sister couldn't get through the tight security at the hospital, but Angela did. This shows the fire inside her. She's got rage boiling, and she's here for revenge. If you ask me, we might be seeing her team up with the Young Avengers down the line. We cut to an abandoned subway tunnel, and there's Muse, carrying an unconscious man in his arms. I love how they make a point of showing Muse stopping midway to adjust the guy's position, now slinging him over his shoulders. It's a small detail, but it's telling us something important. This version of Muse is different from the comics. He's not superhuman, he's just a regular guy, which honestly makes him even more dangerous, and I love that. Next, we jump to the club where BB is working her magic, trying to get Daniel drunk so she can dig up some dirt on Mayor Fisk. And yes, she pulls it off. Daniel spills some juicy info on his way out. BB reports on the leak with the headline Mayor Garbage. And if you notice, she published the article at exactly 5:47 a.m. And Daniel told Fisk that he was with BB until 4:30 or maybe even 5.
But I went out to a club till 4:30, maybe even 5, and
That means after saying goodbye to Daniel, BB wasted no time at all and went straight back to work on this article and published it immediately. So we can now safely assume things are about to get real ugly for BB Urich. She just went against Wilson Fisk, and that's not something he'll take lightly. Now outside the bar, we see another piece of graffiti on the wall. This time it's White Tiger, with Muse's signature at the bottom and the words Vigilante Justice. This makes me think Muse is painting this graffiti of all the vigilantes around New York, probably to piss off Mayor Fisk. Fisk really is the one he's after. Now across the street, we see someone named Leroy Bradford getting arrested for petty larceny. The way the camera moves here is absolutely genius. No cutaways, just CGI stitching everything together. The camera follows Daniel as he gets into the taxi and goes right through the taxi to the other side of the street. It's a visual reminder that in this city there are always two sides. One side, people are living it up, and the other side, they're just trying to scrape by, even if it means stealing to survive. Then Kirsten asks Matt to take on a freebie for the public defender and represent Leroy Bradford. We cut to Heather Glenn's office where Fisk and Vanessa are back for another round of marriage counseling. Notice how they're sitting much closer this time compared to last time. It's subtle, but it's a sign that their relationship is starting to heal. As the show progresses, they keep getting closer. Vanessa talks about how she fell in love with Adam, and that's really the heart of why their marriage fell apart.
His hands drew beautiful sketches, I mean, just...
Can we not?
Now, I don't think any man wants to hear their wife talking about another guy's hands like that. And I'm gonna call it, Fisk might just chop this poor guy's hands off at some point. Fisk then claims that his meeting with Adam was without harm or ill intent.
There's no expression of ill intent. I did tell him how I felt about you.
This line is a direct callback to Season 1 when Kingpin called himself the one with the ill intent.
That I'm not the Samaritan, that I'm not the priest or the Levite, that I am the ill intent.
Now, I'm not sure if Fisk is lying to both Vanessa and Heather here, or if he's just putting on an act in front of Heather to keep things clean. Because if Vanessa also doesn't know that Fisk's got Adam captive, that means he's lying to Vanessa too. She is not above anyone else. Matt starts discussing the case with Leroy, and this scene feels totally different from the rest of the episode. And I'm pretty sure part of Leroy's story is a leftover from the pre-overhaul version, where Matt was on a completely different path. However, they do manage to stitch them together in a way that really fits into the story. Let me explain how. The episode kicks off with Hector Ayala's death, all because of the corrupt system. Then Matt comforts Angela, who's lost all faith in that same system. And now we've got Leroy, who's being tossed in and out of jail like he's nothing. This is a system that spends 5 times more to lock him up than to actually feed him. So for him to get 3 square meals, he has to sacrifice his freedom. It's a messed up system that's supposed to stop crime, but is actually just fueling it with its own rules. In this scene, Matt has nothing clever to say in response, just a simple, "you're right," before they sit there in silence. It's a powerful moment because it forces Matt to confront the truth, and that leads him straight to Frank Castle, who immediately gets it.
You want to get your hands on somebody, huh? Want to hurt him? Maybe a little bit scared. A little scared about what that means.
Frank knows what Matt needs to hear, that being a lawyer isn't enough for New York. The city doesn't just need Matt Murdock, the lawyer, it also needs Daredevil. And that's the push Matt needs to get back in the suit. And then in the middle of the conversation, Leroy casually says this.
Could it have been a scroll?
Nope.
And Matt's just like, nope, we're just gonna pretend this blatherskite of a show doesn't exist. Also, pay attention to how many times Leroy makes fun of Matt being blind.
Hey, look at this. I get the friggin' blind dude. You hear me? Blind man.
Loud and clear. Yeah, see what I can do.
See? See, that's funny. 'Cause you can't see shit.
It's almost too on the nose, and I think it's the writer's way of telling Matt that yeah, he can hear and see more than most people, but right now he's completely blind to the system that's falling apart around him. And I think that's exactly what Leroy was trying to get across here. Matt manages to work his charm in court, using some smooth flirting to get Leroy the best deal possible. Now, is it just me, or does Matt have way more chemistry with this Latvian woman than he does with Heather Glenn? I mean, it's like sparks are flying between them. But honestly, I kind of hope she stays away away from my boy Matt and his delicious slutty flirting skills? Because let's be real, Matt is a terrible boyfriend. But I have to give credits to Elizabeth A. Davis, who plays Sophia Ozola. She nailed the role perfectly. Halfway through their conversation, you can tell Sophia is already impressed with Matt's flirting. She clears her throat, looks down, trying to stay professional, but Matt's already got her hooked.
Plus, with a name like Azola.
Well, given your cultural sensitivity...
And then Matt asks her, would you really give a tough sentence on Latvian Heritage Day?
On Latvian Heritage Day?
How'd you know I was Latvian?
Pretty sure you snuck a piece of honey cake for breakfast.
Wow.
It's a blind thing.
Oh, it's a blind thing, huh? You son of a bitch. And I swear for a second, I thought they said Latveria, you know? Doctor Doom's birthplace. But yeah, that's just my inner MCU fanboy hoping for some Avengers Doomsday connection. Hey, a guy can dream, right? Next, we cut to the hallway, where Matt uses his enhanced hearing to sense Officer Powell nearby. Notice how the aspect ratio narrows again, just like we saw in episode 1. He provokes Powell by accusing him of being involved in Hector Ayala's murder, which forces Powell to confess that he had nothing to do with it. Matt, of course, did this because if Powell was lying, Matt would have sensed it instantly. But as it seems, Officer Powell might be a corrupt cop, but he wasn't the one who killed Hector. It also shows just how deep corruption runs in the NYPD. It was Powell who was humiliated the most in front of everyone, yet someone else did the dirty work on his behalf and he had no clue. Fisk brings his team to Red Hook, ready to unveil his grand plan to transform its port into a booming new district. This gives us the answer to why Red Hook's been off limits. It's because Fisk has big plans to completely flip the place. But his advisor Sheila quickly brings him back down to reality. She reminds him that such a drastic change involves a ton of red tape and protocols that need to be dealt with before they can even think about announcing it to the public. They then set up a photo op for Mayor Fisk, where he's sitting in a tiny little chair in front of a classroom of kids singing "We Build This City." The director of this episode, Jeffrey Nachmanoff, said that the school choir had to be re-recorded because the kids were singing too well. They then purposely added kids who were off-key. The reason they did this is to highlight Fisk's extreme discomfort. He hates doing this cheesy photo ops, and the out-of-tune singing just cranks up the awkwardness. And that's why he looks so relieved when the song finally ends. And this scene was pure gold.
Now for our next one.
No. That's fine.
And that's not it. Fisk is then forced to listen to the same song again at the Latvian Cultural Center, and you can practically see his blood boiling. Oh boy. He's also fuming because he's just learned that someone from his administration leaked details to the press about Fisk's plan with Red Hook. Although the leak came from Daniel Blake, but he quickly showed his loyalty by apologizing very sincerely. And loyalty is the only thing someone like Fisk wants from his people, something that he didn't even get from his own wife. But if you think about it, Daniel's relationship with Fisk is now on a razor's edge. Daniel might be willing to do anything to win back that trust, even getting rid of BB entirely. I mean, who knows? In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if Sheila's in danger too. She pretty much said this to Daniel a few moments ago.
I was here before you and I was here before Fisk, and I will be here long after you're both gone.
Now imagine if Daniel passes this information to Fisk. It's not hard to guess what's gonna happen to her. And notice the way Daniel apologizes to Fisk.
So you're right to fire me or punish me or do whatever you're gonna do.
Or whatever you're gonna do? Now why would you say something like that to a politician? It's like he's expecting something way worse than just being fired or punished. The simple line shows that even the people working for Fisk know what he's up to. He's a mob boss who's now the mayor, and they're all totally cool with it. Now we cut to the spot where White Tiger was shot, and Matt is now here to investigate it himself. He's mainly here to see if he can locate the missing bullet casing that could lead him to the killer. And notice they've now added more garbage bags in the background, something clearly the city has been suffering from. A clever continuity detail there. And I love the way Matt finds out the casing here that has the Punisher's logo. They could have done it the lazy way and shown us that he found it because no one looked properly. But instead of just showing it lying there, like every other Marvel show would do, this time they make us earn the discovery. The writers came up with a clever way to reveal it. Matt uses his cane to knock over an alcohol bottle, which rolls down the pavement and leads him straight to the casing. And notice he wasn't even trying to touch the surrounding area to find the casing, he simply grabs it. And Charlie Cox, who's perfected his craft of playing a blind character, wasn't even looking where his hand was. Goes to show that yes, he's blind, and he doesn't need his eyesight to find what he's looking for. Matt then goes to pay a visit to Frank, and I've covered that part already. Matt comes back home and opens up to Heather about his tough day. He confesses his struggles and says,
You ever feel like you're pushing a rock up a hill?
this is a nod to Sisyphus, a character from Greek mythology who was condemned to endlessly push a boulder up a mountain. It's a perfect metaphor for Matt's own endless fight. Unable to sleep, Matt heads to the rooftop of his apartment. Meanwhile, Fisk is walking downstairs, heading toward his own dark underground lair. You can already feel the contrast here. Matt moves upwards when he's about to embrace his alter ego, Daredevil, while Fisk descends into the depths of his evil underworld, preparing to unleash the Kingpin. And notice a red light shines on Matt's body, indicating Daredevil is coming. And a bright white light illuminates Wilson Fisk from behind, preparing us for Kingpin's arrival. Now down in the dungeon, we learn that Fisk has been holding Adam hostage in a cage. Adam's been beaten to a pulp and is begging for mercy. Now if you look back at the trailer, it gives us some clues for future episodes. In this episode, it's just Fisk heading into a dark basement, but in the trailer, we see him wielding an axe. So either they reshot this scene to keep it less violent, or Fisk will revisit this dungeon in a future episode, and that time he will bring that axe with him. I'm guessing Fisk will let Adam out for a bit, give him a shot at fighting back, and that's when Adam will try to strike with the axe. And the reason I believe this character is Adam is because of his long hair. Now Fisk's meal choices are telling too. He tries to eat healthy in public, but when he's in the dungeon, it's a completely different story. A big boy meal for a man who has someone locked up and torturing him for his own twisted pleasure. This dungeon feels like Fisk's personal guilty pleasure trip. Now back on the rooftop, we get a glimpse of 5 different Daredevil masks that Matt's been hiding. Each one comes with its own suit, but I really like how the golden cowl stands out as the most scratched up one, considering that's the one we've recently seen him use in She-Hulk. And I just love the way they keep going back and forth between these two sequences. Notice Adam screams echoes from the dungeon, and then the shot shifts to Matt, almost as if the devil inside Matt Murdock is screaming out loud and saying, "Let me out!" And that's how the episode wraps up. We do catch glimpses of Muse at both the start and the end of the episode, but I'm gonna hold off on diving into those scenes for now. The credits, however, pretty much confirm that Hunter Doohan is playing Muse, and we have already seen him in episode 2. Next week, Marvel is treating us to a double feature. Episode 5 and 6 are dropping at the same time. And what I'm hearing, episode 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9 are amazing. So I'll see you lads in the next one.